Hello again, this is Rob Pluvius Browning, and this is the second part of my Takeshi's Challenge playthrough where I'm going to show you all the different ways you can screw up in this game, die, and all the other things you can do in this game. There's quite a bit of things you can do. Most of it has nothing to do with finishing the game. Now, I won't show you the first way you can die in this game. This might be the only game where you can die before you even start. Deceased Crab actually showed this way to die at the beginning of his Let's Play, so as an incentive to get you to watch that, I'll just put a link in the description below and you can look at it there. Basically, you can punch the person who's on the password screen instead of putting a password in, and he'll kill you. Also, if you put in your password incorrectly, you'll die. So go ahead and watch Deceased Crab's Let's Play. It's actually, I'm actually going to assume that you have, because I'm not going to explain absolutely everything I do. I'm generally just going to talk about the things that you don't need to do in the game to proceed. And with that, let's go on ahead. Okay, your character is a salaryman in mid-80s Japan, so as you might expect, you start out in your boss's office. And you start out getting your bonus, but apparently you didn't do very well, so you don't get much. Now, after you get your bonus, you can talk to your boss, and I'm going to reset the encounter. And here's a funny little bug: if you do it that way, he disappears. Now, you have 5 options to go with here. Normally you would sign your resignation so you can get more money, but we'll go ahead and show what the other things do. If you take a sick day, he'll threaten you, say you're not going to have a job when you get back, but that's kind of an empty threat. You can also take a vacation. He'll say you have 20 days, you know, whatever. You can also punch your manager, and of course he doesn't take that very well. Sends in a bunch of security guards after you. And if you can keep fighting these security guards, they'll keep showing up until you leave or until you reset. And then finally, you can flatter your boss, but, you know, just like any other bad boss that you know of, you know, flattery will get you nowhere. We'll go on out of the office now. And you'll notice I really should have started over here, because you really don't want to get your bonus from the boss until after you've divorced your wife. But we'll worry about that later. Now I'm going to show you the only optional area in this section of the city, which is the movie theater. And there's a couple of interesting things here. First of all, there's a bug where you'll, as you can see, you'll sit backwards if you don't get in your seat just right. You'll sit not facing the screen. The other problem is, if you'll look carefully, it looks like he's not wearing pants, which, you know, that kind of makes you wonder what kind of movie theater this is, what kind of movie Yakuza versus Yakuza is, and I don't think I really want to know. So we're going to go on to the bank now. You have to go to the bank to get your 50,000 yen savings. Of course, you'll want to do this the first thing, because it's just enough money to get one of the things that you may need to beat the game. So now we have our money. We're going to go over to the Culture Club, and that's basically where you learn a bunch of different skills. And I'll talk about this in more detail later, but for now we're just going to get the Shakuhachi skill, which shakuhachi is a type of Japanese flute. And normally you'd get the shamisen there, the Japanese guitar, but, you know, it's not really necessary for reasons I'll explain later. I picked the shakuhachi to show you what would happen if we used it later in the game. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next part of the city, Joy Joy Street. And immediately something very bizarre pops out at you: grilled Mormons. Apparently this is a play on words of grilled hormones, which is grilled cow entrails, apparently. Apparently kind of popular in Japan. I also read a rumor, which I don't believe, but I'll mention it anyway. One of the developers of this game hated Mormons a lot, Now, I don't know why. Maybe one of them hit his dog while riding on his bike. Maybe his dad converted and made him give 10% of his allowance to the church. I don't know. Anyway, we're in Club Akemi now, which is just another place you can go to get drinks, pretty much totally irrelevant to the game. And then finally you have Bar Gold, which serves one useful purpose, which is, this is the one place in the city that I can think of where you can actually heal damage. And of course, you know, with the Yakuza pestering you constantly like here, you're going to need that help. And if you drink tequila here, and it's fairly expensive tequila, but it does heal about a heart worth of your health, which is very useful when you have to do the karaoke later. And speaking of the karaoke bar, here it is. You have to go here to get drunk at the beginning. Because in order to talk to your wife, you have to be drunk. And, you know, I guess that's kind of a funny commentary on marriage, but anyway, so now we faded, now we're here at our home and talking to our wife. And we have a few options we can go with here. First of all, we can ask for some food, and apparently it's in the oven, so that's nice. And as soon as we eat, we go to bed, wake up the next day, and that's pretty much it. We can't really reset the conversation unless we get drunk again. So instead of doing that, let's go ahead and see what the bath option does. And get in the tub, so that's nice, you know, whatever. Try the third option, and the third option is let's go to bed. And of course, yeah, your kid's watching, that kind of takes the romance out of things. So, you know, so much for that. So then we go on to the fourth part. I want to travel, which we do, but she thinks we're wanting to travel with her. That's not exactly the case. So we'll go on and divorce her now, which you have to do to proceed with the game. Now first we'll try punching her, and you can't win this fight. This is, I believe, the one invincible enemy in the game, which is, again, a nice commentary on marriage. So instead of punching her, we'll just go ahead and pay the alimony, which you have to do to complete the game. If you don't do this, when you try to fly out to the South Pacific, your plane explodes for pretty much no reason, which I'll show you later. Okay, now this is the part of the town you live in. It's pretty much a slum. Let me go ahead and show you what this other house is. It's just got a kid in it, pretty much irrelevant. Now, when you pay alimony to your wife, you lose quite a bit of money, which is why it's strongly suggested and pretty much required that you don't quit your job until after you've divorced your wife, because you pretty much have no money if the only money you got was at the bank. If the only money you got was at the bank, and you spent 45,000 yen on musical instrument lessons and 5,000 yen on liquor, you have no money left. So, you're alright. And now we're going to resign and get our money, and okay, I'll admit I wasn't expecting that to happen. Apparently, if you do one of the other options before you resign, then you don't get money, and you have to start over. So, in the next part, I'll show you what happens in the rest of the city part of the game.